Good morning, everyone. My name is Nikkie Windsor and I am a health and nutrition coach. I'm passionate about making culinary and lifestyle medicine central to health management by empowering you to make positive changes for your health and well-being. Gut health is my area of specialty, having lived with digestive symptoms for over 35 years. If you find these videos valuable, please help me to get them in front of more people by liking and sharing. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. Today I want to talk about nutrition and how you can empower yourself to make more informed decisions through the food that you buy. So we'll be looking at how food labelling can help you with this. Now, most people are aware of basic good nutrition, yet according to research, this doesn't translate into action, and diet remains, on average, across all demographic groups, unhealthy. So think about your diet. Do you eat a balanced and diverse diet? Is it rich in whole grains, fibre, fruits and vegetables? Do you minimise the amount of saturated fat in your diet? Are you consciously aware of the amount of fat you are eating and which types? Do you know which types are better than others? What about sugar? Now, I'm not just talking about sweet foods here. Last week, I shared a video all about sugar, so you can find the link here. So, as I said, it's not just sweet foods. You know, how much bread are you eating? White bread, especially with refined grains. What about white rice, white pasta? Do you minimise your salt intake? What about alcohol? Do you realise that alcohol contains 7 calories per gram? Now, we attribute calories to 1 gram of a macronutrient. So your macros are fat, carbohydrates and protein, and more alcohol is being treated as a macronutrient because of how much it is consumed. So that's how we measure calories. Now, in a gram of carbohydrates, there are 4 calories. And that's the same for protein as well. In fact, there are 9 calories in a gram of fat. So alcohol carries a lot of calories at 7 calories per gram. That's more than both carbohydrates and protein, and nearly as much as fat. Do you minimise convenience and processed foods? How often are you eating takeout? Because these foods are typically high in sugar, salt and fat, and low in nutrients. What about overeating? Do you eat until you're full or stuffed? I like to liken it to beached whale. Do you clear your plate always? Do you fill your plate? Do you have a big plate? And what about hydration? Really, you should be drinking 2 to 3 litres a day. Are you drinking that much water? So most people know that they should be improving their eating habits, but for one reason or another, they don't. Unfortunately, it often takes some sort of health crisis for people to prioritise their health. So good nutrition helps to prevent illnesses such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes and obesity. It plays a valuable role in energy management, affects your sleep patterns, improves awareness and cognition, and it influences our emotional body, affecting both mood and our mental health. So nutrition, the food that we eat, is fuel for our bodies, and the quantity and quality directly impacts our health and well-being. So given the importance of nutrition, how well do you know the nutritional breakdown of the food that you eat? Now, the great news is food labelling makes it very easy for you to make informed choices about the food that you buy. In fact, international labelling standards have been established, so regardless of where you live, you should be able to benefit from this information. Now, the downside is that there is a lack of evidence-based health and nutrition information and education. So people just don't have the knowledge to make informed choices regarding the food that they eat. So this is one of the reasons why I do what I do. My vision is to make culinary and lifestyle medicine central to health management. And that means empowering you with the necessary knowledge to help you make the right choices. So let's have a look at the information on packaging. Now, due to international labelling standards, information is fairly consistent, as you can see here on this image of labels across the US, the UK and Canada. Now, one of the things that the UK has, in addition to the nutritional facts box that you normally find on the back of ingredients, is a traffic lighting system form of labelling that is on the front. Now, this is a very clear example of a label that you'll find on the back of ingredients. Now, the information that should be included on the back of the product is the name of the food, the weight, the ingredients listed in order of quantity used. So that's a really important thing to know. So if sugar is number 2 or 3 on the item number 2 or 3 on the list, then you know it's one of the primary ingredients. Now, nutritional information tends to reflect either 100 grams of product or a portion, and they'll always state the weight of the portion. Now, bear in mind that the recommended portion size may not reflect the actual amount that you are eating, so you need to adjust the figures accordingly if you're eating more or less than their recommended portion size. Now, this label is nice and clear, but other formats are less so. Some of them are just a line of text, but all of that information is there. Now, in the UK, there are 14 common allergens that must be listed by law and emphasised on the packaging. And this means that they'll often be highlighted in some sort of way, either separated out or listed in a bold typeface. So in the UK, we have this front of pack label. And what that reflects is the portion size. So again, as I just said, adjust the figures if you are eating more or less than that standard portion size. It will show the calories and it will show the percentage of your daily allowance taken up by the product. It has a colour-coded system that indicates at a glance whether the levels of fat, sugar and salt are high, medium or low. Now, the colour coding levels can be seen in this image, and that's the ranges that apply to the colouring. So a product with less than 5 grams of sugar in 100 grams will show as green, whereas a product with more than 22.5 grams of sugar will be colour-coded red. Now, just to put that into perspective, the daily recommended amount is 90 grams of total sugars. So 22.5 grams of sugar in a product is a big chunk of that daily limit and will be reflected in the percentage of the daily allowance. So again, the format may change, and this image shows a selection of the different ways in which they will present that information. So what should you be looking out for? Well, take note of where the items that you want to reduce in your diet appear in the ingredients list. The higher up in the list that they are, the more of it that will be in the product. Be aware of the portion sizes and take note of the colour coding. Now, as a general rule, green is good. Amber means exercise caution, and red should mean minimize or avoid. However, your choices should also be guided by any health conditions that you are managing or diets that you are following. So, for example, if you are diabetic, then it's important to choose low sugar foods to stay in the green range for sugars. Likewise, if you have high cholesterol, then you want your fats in the green range, especially saturated fats. However, if you're following a keto style diet, you need to eat more fat and less carbohydrates. So you are likely to be more in the amber red range for fats and will need to keep in the green range for sugars. Now for salt is 40% sodium and 60% chloride. It's actually the sodium that we're wanting to limit in our diet. So do be aware that if an ingredient lists sodium, you are consuming more salt than you realise. The other thing to look for is if you suffer from one of the 14 recognised food allergies, pay attention to the ingredients listed in bold or separately. Unfortunately, there's no labelling requirement for foods that may cause intolerance. So you would need to read through the ingredients and be aware of what your intolerances are. So as you can see, there's a significant amount of information available to you on the food that you buy, but it's your job to interpret it and to make wise decisions when choosing what to eat. So I hope this has been useful. As I said, do please like and share to help me get this video out to more people. And I'll be back next week for another episode of Culinary Wellness Wisdom. All right, have a great week. Bye.